It's a stormy night. The sound of rain taps against the window panes of a dimly lit tavern. A mysterious stranger, cloaked and hooded, takes a seat at the worn wooden bar. The atmosphere is sick with the scent of ale and the low hum of other patrons sharing tales and laughter. The barkeep wipes down glasses with a well-used cloth. He turns to the stranger with a nod of curiosity. "What's your story, friend?" A long pause. The onlookers take note. They stare expectantly. The stranger blinks. He clears his throat, and then...
Sorry, what was the question?
Poor guy. He gets nervous when he talks about himself. He's never studied how to give a narrative speech. Welcome to the Authentalk Public Speaking Podcast, where we help you find the value in your voice. I'm your host, Ian Lampert. I'm a professional public speaking coach who's helped students earn over 1,500 championships. Every episode, we dive into a public speaking competition and tell you what it is, why it matters, and the strategies you need to succeed. This is episode 2, the International Speech Contest. Last time, we mentioned Toastmasters, one of the world's largest adult public speaking organizations. Their most well-known event is called the International Speech Contest. In this category, contestants prepare and memorize a 5 to 7 minute speech. You can use props, and judges will evaluate your speech's organization, message, effectiveness, vocal modulation, and body language. If you're serious about winning internationally, you must battle your way through your local club, then area, then division, then district before you get to regional quarterfinals, then semifinals, and finally, the World Championship. That's how it works. But why do it? Because this speech category taps in to two of the most fundamental parts of being human: storytelling and self-knowledge. Every international finalist approaches this open-ended topic in a similar way. They tell stories. They train in ways to keep our lizard brains engaged. Big movement, huge vocal changes, strategic use of visual aids. We remember being kids around campfires. We know not all ghost stories were created equal. Some had this special quality. They kept us on the edges of our seats, hanging on every word. This power of storytelling is what separates us from being by-the-book managers and visionary leaders. It's why so many of us would rather listen to the TED Talk or watch the TV show than slog through a text summary. Storytelling wraps countries in war. Storytelling produces lasting peace. But in this contest, we don't do general stories. They're deeply personal. We talk about our trials and tribulations, seminal life events, losses and lessons. And we showcase sincerity while connecting our experiences to our audiences. The narrative speech is an extended riff on that classic question, "Tell me about yourself." So how do you win the storytelling contest? Simplicity, sincerity, and star power. This narrative speech follows a very simple model. You start by telling a short story that grabs your audience. At the end of that short story, you'll introduce a 2 to 6 word theme. Example: in college, I still didn't have my driver's license. I was making some money by coaching speech and debate all across Southern California. So sometimes I needed to take the train to tutor. And one time I was stressed out. I was taking on too many hours, I wasn't thinking clearly, and I got on the wrong train. By the time I realized it, I was already heading in the wrong direction, doomed to miss my appointment. I needed to get off the wrong train. Now you've got the hook, you've got the theme, time to tell a second story. This one builds on the theme. At the end, repeat it. Another example. There was a time in senior year of high school where I was talking on the phone with my then girlfriend every single night until after 2 a.m. Not so great for my sleep, not so great for my grades, not so fantastic for the phone bill either. But when some of my friends told me, hey man, this ain't right, you're heading in the wrong direction, I wasn't listening. It's like I was cranking up the volume on my AirPods so I wouldn't have to hear the conductor and know that I was on the wrong train. I'll give the audience one more story. This one should be real, sincere, vulnerable, hopefully inspiring. After I graduated college, I spent years building one of the most successful high school speech and debate programs in the country. We won a lot of awards. We were the #1 team at the Tournament of Champions. But to get there, my students and I gave up a lot. I know that I burnt the candle at both ends, turned away different job opportunities, lost chances to see friends, and missed precious time with my loved ones, including some of my grandparents who passed away. It took a global pandemic for me to seek help. It was only when the train station was shut down that I realized how far away I had been traveling from what I should have kept close. Finally, turn your speech to the audience. Make it about them. I'll ask you, how many of you have been on the wrong train? And for how long? How did you wake up and realize it? And how can we help others to rediscover their true north and begin to travel in the right direction? That's the simple structure. But if you found that at all effective, it's probably because it was sincere. If you're not expressing hard-earned truths, the story falls flat. So don't describe something dry and technical. Make it relatable. Make it real. To stand out, you're going to need star power. Many world champions use a prop, like a physical towel, when describing how you shouldn't throw in the towel and give up. Others showcase different skills, like speaking in character voices or singing. There's a bit of pageantry at play, and that's okay. So much of success in this category is predicated on your subject selection. So here's a 2-part exercise to help. First, make a list of stories. Stories where you learned lessons the hard way. Describe what happened, and then say what you learned, how the message got through to you, and why it matters so deeply. Choose the most visual story from that list and turn that one into the opener, so you can find that 2 to 6 word theme and use it throughout. But second, try it the other way. Start with a list of messages that you deeply want to share. Then write out the stories from your life that show how the messages apply to you and your loved ones. You'll end up with the 3 top stories, 1 key theme, and a closing lesson for your listeners. So do it. Do it. Make an outline, make a draft, pause the podcast, go for it. As you're preparing this narrative speech, remember simplicity, sincerity, and star power. And then you won't be like that poor stranger at the tavern. Because by giving your audience these stories, you'll connect with theirs. And you won't be a stranger to them anymore. That's all for today's episode. Thanks for joining me on the AuthenTalk Public Speaking Podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review for more insights and strategies. I'm Ian Lampert, your public speaking professional.